Malvika, Avinash respond to it. Because if the 15th Finance Commission is the basis of all responses from the BJP, the 15th Finance Commission argued that 42% of central taxes, central funds should go to the states. You tweaked it to keep petroleum away, which means that only 32% are actually sent to the states. Now, if you allowed for that 10% extra to go, Karnataka, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, all states would have more money, including states like UP and Bihar. But because you want to keep the control of funding at the center, you are not even doing what the Finance Commission said. Respond to Subhash Garg.
Good evening. I've heard everyone, and it's been a long conversation you've had with all of them. Let me first brief you on the politics that is getting played.
No, let's talk about the finances. I've seen the politics play out all day. I'm talking about the finances. Respond to the specific question you've been asked. The Finance Commission said 42% of the central revenue should be given to the states as devolution. You tweaked that formula from the Finance Commission, which is the basis of all arguments you're making.
In fact, the devolution has been increased to 42%. It has been increased to 42% by the Modi government. Here we have a bunch of liars who are parading in Delhi in the garb of being representatives of Karnataka. Mr. Siddaramaiah is lying, Mr. D.K. Shivkumar is lying, Mr. Suresh is lying, all of them are lying, and these lies are being carried forward by this young spokesman of the Congress party.
No, I'm asking about a point made by Subhash Garg, who's a former finance secretary, understands central finances far better than any of us. He's made a very important point. I want you to respond specifically, Malvika, to that.
The devolution has increased to 42% is what I am saying.
No, but that's the argument that he's making, that the Finance Commission wanted that it be increased to 42%, but the centre tweaked that. Let Subhash Garg explain it again. The centre tweaked that to keep cesses away, to keep petroleum away, as a result of which the states actually get only 32%. You're not even doing what the Finance Commission said, Mr. Garg. That's what you're arguing?
So that's effectively 42% of the central taxes other than the cesses and the surcharges is to be distributed. So if you increase cesses and surcharges, which the government has done, you effectively reduce 42% to what is the fact today, 32%. That is where the states as a whole have sort of come.
Let Malvika respond to that specific question, Malvika.
You see, the cess has always been with the center. I think here the conversation is as if it was the Modi government, which is the first government of free India. These have been
Dr. Garg, was petroleum always with the center, or was petroleum also part of what was distributed back?
Cess was always with the center.
So cesses and surcharges have
we have not invented these methodages or these policies. They have been in existence since independence. This is exactly, I think, Tejasvi elucidated it at quite a length. I'm sorry that we all ceased to understand what he was saying. It's been there for 75 years.
Dr. Garg,
and Siddaramaiah has suddenly woke up in spite of having been in power for 5 years. Before this in Karnataka.
Dr. Garg, so then what's changed? What's the argument you're making? Cesses and surcharges have always been part of what the center keeps. Explain your argument, sir.
The government decides how much of cesses and surcharges to be sort of levied. If a particular government increases this disproportionately, today of the excise duty on petroleum products, 92% is in the form of cess and cesses, not in the form of the excise duty or the VAT, right? If it was in the form of the VAT, it would have been distributed. But if it is in the form of cess and surcharges, it's not distributed. So while it is true that the cesses and surcharges have always been there, what you do is you tweak how much of the total taxes you collect in the form of cess and surcharges. If you collect more cess and surcharges, then you distribute effectively less. That is what it is brought down.
Let Malvika respond to that argument. Malvika?
I think we are going back and forth on the same thing. These are matters that have been in place. And there has been so much more that the central government has given the state. Why aren't we discussing that? Why aren't we discussing the manner in which this entire devolution process has gone up by about 250% since the UPA? Why aren't we discussing